Hello, hello, and welcome back to What We Pod in the Shadows, where we are discussing the first season of What We Do in the Shadows. I'm Raven.
And I'm Alison.
Quick note, if y'all could, maybe leave us a review and or subscribe or follow the podcast before we get into the episode, that would be super great. We could definitely use the feedback, and we would love to get to be shown to more people.
If we see that you've left a review, we might read your review on the podcast. This is episode 8, Citizenship. Nadja spies on Jenna, who hasn't fully turned into a vampire yet. Her reflection is doing its own thing, and she floats in her sleep. She has mood swings and cravings and eye and skin sensitivity, and is eating small animals, although normally she is a pescatarian.
Nandor calls everyone to a house meeting. It says that if they're going to let a victim live, to show them the way out of the house because it's common courtesy, and to blow out candles before they leave the house. Colin wears a disgusting cologne called Mr. Hijinks that he found in the bathroom at work. Nandor says to shut up because he'd killed people for interrupting him back when he was the leader of Al-Qanadar. Everyone says it sounds made up, and it turns out it was dissolved in 1401. Nandor is sad to hear this, even though he was kicked out for torturing people and pillaging.
Yes, he says he has no home. Nadja continues to follow Jenna, who is unsuccessfully trying to catch a cat, and says she is like a disabled donkey. Nadja says no one gave her guidance when she was first turned. Nandor shows the bag of dirt he keeps with him from Al-Qanadar. He is too sad to eat. He says he has no home or country, so Guillermo suggests he become an American citizen.
Nandor is excited by the idea, and then he flies away as a bat, leaving Guillermo behind. Jenna starts to realize that she is becoming a vampire, and Nadja's like, duh, I bit your neck and had you drink my blood. What did you think was happening? Nadja tells her to complete her transition into vampirehood, Jenna must drink human blood, and she will teach Jenna to kill.
I wonder what happens if they just stay in that in between. If she would go back to human, or if it would kill her.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too. I wish they'd gotten into a little more detail on that. That could have been neat to go.
Although they seem like they don't really know a lot of stuff, like the whole thing with the turning into a bat and where their clothes go.
Yeah.
Nandor is eligible for citizenship. He had started the process in 1992, but never finished. He had been really into the 1992 men's Olympic basketball team. He was then distracted by the Macarena. So it was like Michael Jordan, Larry Bird. It was like a crazy dream team, which is usually what the United States puts out there, but
of course, he had to pick the most 90s dance to be distracted by, too.
They seem to have short attention spans. I'm sure if the Macarena didn't come along, once the whole Olympic thing was over, he probably would have just forgot about becoming a citizen anyway.
Yeah, probably. I'm just imagining what it would be like to a vampire with ADHD, and then I forget about stuff, and then I'll be like, ah, shit, I forgot to do that today. But if you're a vampire, maybe you forget to do something and it's been a decade, and then that thing isn't available anymore or whatever.
Yeah.
Nadja brings Jenna to the house to try to find out her special vampire skill. Nadja says that she crawls up walls, but Jenna clumsily falls to the ground. Laszlo makes fun of Jenna's efforts and says she should be in a cage, which makes her run off. Guillermo tries to coach Nandor to help him with his citizenship test. Nadja makes Laszlo apologize to Jenna and help train her. Nandor says, when asked about George Washington, that he was America's first gay president.
Okay, so when they were going over that, we find out Nandor was born in 1262, and that Al-Qanadar, I'm probably saying it wrong, or saying it differently each time. It's located in southern Iran. And then it's revealed that he was married only once to 37 women.
Yeah.
Guillermo notices Jenna in the house, and he screams into a pillow because they turned someone so random into a vampire instead of him.
Laszlo wants to teach Jenna how to turn into a bat, which does not come easily to her as she turns into this big, clumsy, almost gargoyle thing. She falls off the roof, and Guillermo, in his jealousy and resentment, tells Nandor that she was just a big bag of garbage. She says she can hear him because of her new vampiric hearing. Nadja takes Jenna to a frat party to get her first taste of human blood. Nadja hypnotizes Guy to let them in and also to be more respectful of women.
Nandor attempts to hypnotize the man who is interviewing him about citizenship, but can't. Apparently, government workers might be dead inside. He thinks there may be no human left in them. He bungles questions about the right to bear arms and how long the president is elected for. And he goes to the interview wearing his jersey from the 92 Olympics.
I like he just wears it over his regular vampire clothes. Jenna is reluctant to eat anyone at the party, but Nadja reminds her they're in a room full of assholes. So when Nandor did screw up the question about the president, he said that the president is elected for 1,000 years, which sometimes it does feel like that. Jenna tries to get the frat guys' attention, but they all ignore her completely. Nadja hypnotizes a frat bro to flush his head down the toilet 7 times. People spill drinks on Jenna, seemingly without realizing she's there. Jenna freaks out because everyone ignores her and tries to leave the party when she suddenly turns invisible. Nadja is overjoyed by Jenna's invisibility powers and encourages her to use her powers to snag someone to eat. And I think she picked the guy who spilled her drink on her to go eat, and she drags him outside. And then his neck is like spurting blood, and she tries to use her like water bottle to contain it.
Yeah, I think to save for later.
Yeah.
I thought Nadja, when she's flirting with the guys and I guess it's part of the hypnotism, but she's pretty good with it. The stuff she does with her eyes, she's really good. Nandor must recite an oath of allegiance. When he has to say, "So help me God," flames come out of his mouth. Nandor reveals he didn't pass, and Guillermo says he should be proud to be a vampire. Nandor jumps on a car and gives a speech and gets his mojo back.
It seemed like his mouth, being set on fire when he tried to say God, was the only thing that really genuinely freaked out the government worker. It's this other stuff, he doesn't know jack shit, but the mouth on fire. That sounds weird. Jenna is stoked about being a vampire now and eating a dude and wants to stay up to watch the sunrise with Nadja, but Nadja has to tell her that she'll burst into flames if she does so. Nandor says he wanted to be an American citizen to get a gun, and Guillermo tells him that just anyone can buy one, which is pretty true. Jenna finds motorcycle helmets and says that she saw in Blade that vampires using them to avoid getting roasted by the sun. Nadja and Jenna watch the sunrise on the roof with their helmets on, and they still get burned, and then they have to fly back into the house as bats. And Jenna's still not good at turning into a bat.
And then Jenna is now a full-fledged vampire and no longer needs Nadja, which I'm not totally sure that's true.
Yeah, I would think she'd still need her for, maybe some advice about stuff, maybe? Vampire stuff.
I mean, they all kind of, the 3 of them. I kind of leave Colin out a lot because he doesn't have the same limitations and he doesn't have to drink blood and stuff. So I just say the 3 of them. But they do have each other. So it's just kind of mean to make her and then just tell her to go.
Yes.
Because she kind of has to leave her entire life. So what is she supposed to do? She couldn't really go to class anymore, and she was doing weird shit in her sleep. Her roommate was freaking out.
Yeah.
I'm sure, especially being a new vampire, if she went and tried to go home to her parents or whatever, she might be tempted to eat them, and that would probably be pretty awful for her.
Yeah. And then it's probably a lot harder to get a job as a vampire. I feel like a lot of the times vampires seem like they almost come built in with wealth, but she doesn't even have an older vampire like that with her. And then she's she's in college, so she's probably just in her 20s. So she's broke as hell. There's no way.
Yeah, just because she knows how to, eat now, that doesn't mean she's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how they've been there that whole time and then aren't citizens, or like their citizenship hasn't been called into question or whatever. Like, how did they own a home and stuff? I guess maybe like they've had it the whole time. Like maybe it was before you needed, like, I'm not sure when they started giving people social security numbers or whatever, but
yeah. Or like maybe Naja like hypnotized someone who's like, will give us this house.
maybe. Yeah, she seems like she's like the only one that does the hypnotizing well. I do feel bad for Jenna because she didn't even know what was happening and she didn't ask for it. It's not like she approached Naja and was like, please. I feel like the Beanie Feldstein who's playing Jenna, I feel like she's done a good job. She like really, what is it? Something to the bit. What is it?
She really committed to the bit?
Yeah, she committed to it.
Yeah. Being a baby vampire would suck, especially if you didn't know that you were becoming one. But I feel like if you are up on like your vampire lore, I feel like a lot of people might immediately go to that. Or maybe I would, because I've just always been like super into vampire shit. So I'd be like, wait a minute. I want blood. Vampire.
Oh, I mean, she did figure it out, but
yeah, she was pretty oblivious at first.
I mean, I'm just wondering how quickly other people figure out what their talent is. I'm not sure Naja's only thing would be climbing the walls. Like, she does that sonic scream thing, and
yeah,
I would think they all could do the climbing the walls thing. She's good at hypnotizing. I'm not sure that what do Nandor and Laszlo have?
I don't know. Laszlo's extra good at being a bat, maybe? I have no idea. Well, I mean, Nandor did like turn himself into like a fog and then like into also a dog as well.
Okay.
So maybe he's just like really good at like shape shifting shit.
Except they were like super paranoid about shapeshifters.
Yes. Like it's only cool when Nandor does it. So I think that wraps up this episode. Thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed the pod, hit all the buttons for us so we can get out there to more folks.
We do have another podcast, Mojo Jojo's Bizarre Adventure, where we discuss the original Powerpuff Girls and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah, so if you enjoy hearing us talk about TV shows on here, maybe you'd like to hear us talk about some of our other favorite shows.
If you want to watch ahead, the next episode we'll be covering of what we do in the shadows is episode 9, The Orgy.
So tune in next week to hear us discuss that one. And until next time, remember, you're dead and out of this world. Goodbye.
Goodbye.